Game 3 of the lower bracket is here, and this will be it. This will conclude the semifinals. Coming out of these performances here and now, who will we'll see locking it in for the grand finals next weekend? Well, only time will tell. Here we have it, Taco. We've seen what kind of goes down here at these early drops. We know what areas more or less have been contested, but in these final games, there is always the wild factor that everyone will land Grim Gates. And I kid you not, I was gonna call it. And like, I was saying that like jokingly, but almost seriously. And then the camera shot into Grim Gates. That was perfect.
It's just
have to do it.
Being one of these teams, though, like surely you're looking at everybody else around you and wondering, how did we get here, guys? But Sprite and Shore, 4 points, right? These teams all think, if I can just be the duo to walk away from this one, to secure that mythic gatekeeper shotgun, to have the aspect of agility, maybe this will be my game to get a victory royale and come out on top. But when it's you and 7 other plus teams thinking it, not even factoring in the teams that are going to look to third party from the outskirts of Grimgate territory, the odds just don't really seem in your favor, but it's not going to deter any of these guys here at Grimgate right now.
Oh my gosh, Hades Chain comes out and puts in full effect onto Dreamrock there. I'm curious where Nerface and Verse are, because they jumped up, what was it, like 30, 40 positions after getting that second place.
Right.
And there's teams like that that have even, you know, arguably more pressure, right? Like, it's like you dudded out. Like, you played pretty bad game 1, and then you came back and put yourself on this pedestal here for game 2. And then 3, it's like, all right, you know, hands are probably sweating to get into this one. So what worked in game 1? What didn't work in game 1, and then what connected in game 2, or what didn't connect in game 2, right? And then how are you going to adjust for game 3? Because clearly there's teams here that are landing Grim Gates that are like, all right, game 1 and 2 were just not it. They just came straight to Grim Gate in a desperate act, try to pop off here. So,
well, I mean, as far as Verse and Nerdface are concerned, that second place is, or excuse me, that third place from the last lobby left them at 72 points. So they were looking at 12th place on the leaderboard. They are just barely inside that top 15, so they certainly want to try and close it out with another strong performance here. Carrot and Sieges as well, a team that is looking to see if they can have their first, well, at least Carrot is looking for his first FNCS finals, but it is an uphill battle for sure. Things could get the ball rolling if he's able to clear out Mega and Users here at Reckless Railways. So much pressure being applied. Carrot certainly understanding the fact that he's got Mega and Users on the rope. The split decision, though, Carrot just getting too far ahead of his duos. Siege is not able to provide the backup they wanted to. They went for the pincer maneuver, but it works against them in the end. Mega and Users just bought themselves so much time.
We've seen it. We've seen it before, but Mega, oh, he does get the pickup. I was going to say he gets the pickup likely canceled, but no, Sieges was a little too late, and now Mega gets the save here. And all of a sudden now, Mega uses that 3 eliminations. What has been going on here at the Reckless Railways is a whole different question, likely for another day as a fresh team comes in here. It's Cal looking to find a side angle. Flutto here as well. They're healthy and moving in aggressively, and this is where the, you know, the water mythic bending performs best, right, Taco? When you have that nice open lane of fire, no one here to pressure you, early game type situation, all this range, just infinite pressure here.
Siege is just quiet as a mouse right now, crouched up, hoping that Users and Mega don't venture their way into his box, but Mega and Users, their builds have to be relatively low at this point. I mean, they've been in so many fights as is, right? 3 eliminations, haven't necessarily had an opportunity to actually recover what they've lost in the process. And with this split pressure now coming in from Flutto and Cal, things are only going to continue to become more and more difficult as time goes on, because Flutto and Cal, they know that they could essentially lock down Mega and Users inside of the train station here at Reckless Railways. But Flutto, Cal, seems like they kind of understood the fact it didn't happen as quickly as we wanted it to as far as finding those next 2 eliminations, so let's just opt to loot things out instead.
Asia, Cosense, the team that came 26 in those first 3 games of the upper bracket here, forced to stay up for the remaining of the evening here.
15th
They're
right
on
now,
the
by the way.
bubble once again. I was gonna say they are on the bubble once again, right? Literally acting as the gatekeepers here of what separates you from the finals, but they need to be the best duo that they can be right now. Otherwise, that's it. They'll have the chance to slip away twice in the last game. Be tough to sleep after that one. Day losing source here. You got Zavi sitting up top with his duo there. What's keeping this team from jumping down is likely the Grim Gates or the Underworld teams that are just nearby.
Could be a big break, though, for Day if Zavi and Neko actually opt to leave him alone at this point, considering that they're likely the team that eliminated Source beforehand. But another thing to point out, Zavi and Neko, they've actually been landing at Karen's Crossing because they're being coached by Kanata here in the lower bracket. So you got to keep in mind the comms that maybe Kanata is helping filter in, playing a part in some of their decision making. Perhaps letting them know, hey, we don't need to get too greedy here. You got some surge damage online already. Prioritize not getting caught out by those teams that are at the Underworld, as you already highlighted. And Day in his current position, again, things are just going to be ever so difficult for him to find that recovery stance. But at the very least, he won't be immediately keyed despite having lost source in that circumstance.
I think I saw H-Cube and Fagel fall as well, which is a huge, huge upset considering they just had a crazy pop-off game 2 after the reboot. So I do wonder, like, if that's going to affect where top 15 ultimately ends up ending up at. It gives more room for the rest of the lobby to start earning points here. And quite honestly, I'm more surprised this lobby didn't just key its way down into the ground. Like, there's still 80 players alive right now, so everyone's very much hopeful that they can pop off and potentially win a game, right? And then send themselves to finals. That's really what's on the line right here. That's how it can unfold. Blanc and Ella. Again, that Underworld team. This is one of the ones that was there in the distance.
Taking a little bit of time here. They recognize the fact that they're likely going to get caught, held up a bit on edge of zone, just outside of the Underworld. But one other thing that's kind of important to bring up is when I think about, for example, what we saw out of Hazens and Magia earlier on in this lobby, they weren't willing to take a risk, right? Because they're 15th heading into this one. At the same time, I understand not wanting to take risks, but it could definitely influence a player's decisions when they are so close to making it, because again, Hazens, Magia, they just missed out from the upper bracket. They don't want to find themselves falling just outside of the cutoff here in the lower bracket, but that dedication to wanting to play it safe, sometimes you have to wonder, are you playing it too safe now? Are you altering how you would typically handle this situation otherwise if this wasn't the last lobby of the day?
Yeah, I do agree. Last game, more often than not, people want to take the big risk, but then you start, you know, really finding yourself in the position, you're faced with a decision, and sometimes it just comes down to confidence. So you have the heart to go ahead and, you know, put it all on the table. And we're looking at Ignaly and Crayon right now, who are well inside the storm here. They have a long ways to go before they find themselves to safety. Quick update on the standings there with the leaderboards. Once again, 60 points. You have to get past Eden and Hound right now, or Chris and Revised, in order to find yourself inside that top 15. You got to do it just like this, as Zooks gets sent right back to the lobby, but so does Tony, as an incredible collapse of duos happen here. Way down south, what is going on? Hades Chain is out on both sides. Tenley gets bodied. It's a solo v solo v solo at this point. Everyone's in shambles. Regrets are made, and a fresh duo is on the way. At this point, just give me the new duo. Who's coming in to third party this, if you will? It's Pykz and Zeus right now. Oh my gosh. Everyone gets revives? Are you serious?
Unmoored Manor, man, is apparently the place to be, but this is just absolute mayhem at this point. Even with Sharkman getting that revive onto Tenley, this is still not the position you want to be in.
Everyone rezzed. Everyone got their duo up.
It's just all trade.
Is Zeus up?
That's crazy.
Oh my gosh. Zeus is the only one who was sent back to the lobby, it seems. So Shadow's the real loser here, unfortunately losing his teammate. He'll be the one who's set back the most. And look, all the duos off to the races here, healthy as ever.
These are all teams, by the way, that are outside of that top 15 currently. They're all just potentially about to eliminate each other. Yeah, they are definitely playing their own kind of game at this point, MDF, but that entire engagement that just took place, I don't think any of those teams are going to come out better for it. All of them having lost some resources, some materials, and as they start to make this rotation in, closing towards more center map from that far south position they were just at over by Unmoored Manor, these teams in these giant surge bases, Nerface verse, they're going to be the ones that are the real threat, because even if they got that one revive, it's going to be all the more difficult to actually recoup what they lost in the process. And teams already getting lit up, DMRs flying every which direction here. Nerface and Verse, no one around to truly threaten their current position.
Well, they don't know that there's a duo at the base of their mountain.
I'm not sure that they care, though, to be honest.
This team's lurking. They're waiting for a chance right now. They may not care. We'll see if they end up getting punished for it, that's for sure.
The real question is how long it took Flappy and Real to get into this position in the first place. Because how far away did they have to crouch to not alert Nerface and Verse in the process?
And they still have their underworld dashes, so they've been on the move for quite some time. If anything, now I'm more concerned for Flappy's exposure to the edge of the zone here. There's more teams that are going to start coming in from the east here soon.
Imagine if a team shoots at Flappy and Real underneath Nerface and Verse, though, and happens to crack shields, and then that's how Verse and Nerface find out, oh, by the way, there is a duo sitting at the bottom of our surge base.
Well, what's crazy is, you know, Verse and Nerface, I wanted to check in with them earlier, and I'm happy we are getting this, like, mid-game update, because 72 points is, you know, pretty solid. And all, it makes sense why Flappy and Real here now. They want what's left of the bunker loot. Hence why they haven't really alerted, trying to see if they're baiting out this medkit and what remaining loot is right here to the right-hand side. And with all the noise going down downstairs, they break the wall, and now they have this team inside the bunker.
This could be a fiendish play after all.
Who you got right here? Flappy and Real or Nerface and Verse are doomed?
If Flappy misses the pump, it's over. I think Nerface and Verse.
Oh.
Well, we found out real quick.
Verse came down and just got wrecked before Nerface, and Nerface just dipped. Oh my gosh.
Thing is, this could be a worst case scenario now for Nerface, because again, even though they're in 12th currently, they would then have to bank on all those other teams just outside top 15 to not be able to overtake them, and the pressure is relentless. Flappy and Real, their patience has paid off. After all, they just sat so long, fully exposed, and nobody else was able to really catch wind of what was going down. Tragic stuff, though, potentially for Nerface and Verse.
I think that's their run. That's it. That might be their top 15. I don't know if 70... Was it 72
They might
points?
Stay within. They might stay within.
72 points can hold up.
The thing is that teams outside of top 15, right? So let's go to 16th, for example. Aiden and Hound sitting at 60 points.
Easy. Light work. 3 elims.
It's given a real opportunity for teams like Walkers and Fatch, Batman, Booga, and Rapid, just to name a couple.
4
So, yeah.
elims, 5 elims. Yeah, it's going to be very, very difficult to hold that placement right there. 12 plays for 72 points. It's going to be hard to hold that inside the top 15 when you have this many teams just outside of it alive right now, and placement points haven't been given out. So this might be looking like a wash right now. Walkers and Fatch have a chance here. It's the moment you guys been waiting for. Just stay alive.
Walkers and Fatch also being coached by Muzz. There were...
Muzz.
It's a big coach vouch, right? Muzz on your side, but at the end of the day, there has definitely been a big element of surprise taking place here in the lower bracket. A lot of teams just, again, going for those stealth plays, the little sneaky bamboozles that can be hard to suspect, but after a certain point, how long does it really take before players start to recognize the fact that, like, hey, no, we actually have to check quite literally every single corner, or else it could be us next?
Yeah, you honestly pick up the experience from learning. Hard lessons to learn, but, you know, it's going to happen in one way or another.
Especially if you miss grands.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it happens here at the latest stages of, you know, the semifinals right now. The last chance is really... If you are just tuning in, you see top right, that game 3 out of 3 counter means that this is the last round of this lower bracket. We'll have a full roster locked and loaded for next week's finals, which we would love to see you return to. So it is going to be quite the show. But first, we got to get there. Top 15 is the name of the game right now. Teams like Batman, Booger, and Rapid can very surely see themselves there. But you got to break past the point threshold, and Revives and Chris fall there too. And that's another team now opening up the opportunities for others to go ahead and take away a top 15 position there. So now 2 teams that we've seen here inside of our top 15 have been X'd out.
And TK and Bacon, they're going to take that elimination and just bail. They've got the rift. They want to make sure that they can make it into zone. They've already started to draw the attention of some players trying to utilize that waterbending mythic to shoot these players rifting in and out of the sky. Success, though, in a couple of circumstances. Some shields getting tagged, but ultimately, TK Bacon, for a moment, thought they were going to get super aggressive, but Bacon just getting a little bit too lit up. But TK with the snipe. Real stood no chance. The peak was just too long. And now TK, he's looking to keep the momentum going, but he finds himself getting focused out one more time. Flappy trying to see if he can get his teammate to safety, try to make a play for the revive, but Bacon having a chance to heal, but
Hello?
no!
The wall was down, bro. TK just put a wall there and then lets his guard down, likely thinking Bacon was going to come in from behind him. And all of a sudden, he's treated with his own medicine. And it burns. Oh my gosh. That's like insta karma if I've ever seen it in Fortnite terms. Like, that is so messed up.
What are the odds, man?
Like, he just closed that wall and he was like, oh yeah, it's probably Bacon entering. No, bro. Like, you're done.
There was something entering, just not what he wanted.
Yeah.
That sniper shot, man.
Oh man.
Disgusting.
Well, here it is. One of our top 10s down and out. It kind of affects, it really does technically affect the top 15. Like, if anything, you want everyone above you to stay alive and soak up points. So for like Verse and Nerface, you are almost rooting that Bacon just destroys, right? Blake and Mac would continue to go on a tear. Like, everyone above you just keeps going is what you want to happen. However, that's not exactly the case right now. Reality is starting to sink in as top 25 is just 3 placement points away now.
It's tough, though. I mean, Walkers and Fatch, you saw them just a little bit more isolated in their box position. Definitely trying to be very methodical, very tactical with where they go next. Jojo Fishy stuck at the back of zone, down to his final builds. The wood bound to draw some attention. If Thatch and Walkers happen to just look a little bit to their east, they'll catch wind of exactly where JoJo is at, but finally makes it into the safety. Some pre-existing builds, but not sure that that would actually provide any sort of relief if I'm in JoJo's position. He's just trying to sneak up on someone, anyone that he can get a hold of. But the box's floor is getting closed off.
Second time he's almost ruined Thatch and Walker's opportunity at top 15. Very, very close. Aoxy and JoJo Fishy, you can see right there, are at 11.
Oh, here comes the surge tag.
And we're also tied up. Yep, 102 below. He gets finished off. Earns nothing, by the way. Stuck in place, but he is a position above Versa Nerface. So, I mean, he's got something going for him. But that's not a safety spot by any means.
Oh, no.
Oh, Thatch and Walkers, before they earn points, drop to the run. The dream is over now.
Moment of silence, because that is so sad, man. Walkers and Thatch just not going to be able to string it together here. Down on Surge. Trying to work their way in from the backside of zone, but that's a vicious cycle involved when it comes to the lower bracket. If you didn't have success in the uppers or even get a chance to compete in upper bracket, this is your last chance and the last lobby of semifinals in general.
Oh, Bacon's still alive. Bacon's alive. He's the last person rotating on the far right. Larson still up on the south side. Wait, Larson clutching for Oliver OG and Larson right now as well. We might be seeing Oliver OG and Larson get to the finals too here. Yep, Hound 8 and up right now, 82 points. Oh, as I say that, Mew finds Larson there. GG's, but who knows how many points he had at this point.
Oliver OG and Larson had 104 points heading into this last lobby, so I think that should hold for top 15.
It's hard to say, because you got Dragon at 88 points right here with Papa Class, right? Like, and there's 21 duos up. We've jumped into a lot of teams right now with like 80s and 90s. Like, I don't know at this point.
Well, one thing's for sure, Dragon and Poppy, they want to find a second chance at duking things out in grand finals.
Magia, still alive?
It's very, very fickle for where Magia is located at. Hazens as well, though, 86 points, yeah. This leaderboard is starting to look even tighter for that top 15. So many players just trying to squeeze out as many placement points as possible.
All right, let's get a Vamos Magia and Hazens in the chat. A lot of folks rooting for them right now, but Rapid and Batman Booga, 78 points too. Okay, yeah, we have a lot of contenders right here. Top 15 is going to come down to your performances right here, right now. Dragon gets knocked in the feed. Fishy goes down. Magia gets knocked. A lot of solos now are alive here and are forced to try to play this out by themselves. FNCS Finals is on the line, and it's all up to you. It is all up to how you perform. Here we go. Hazens on the move right here. Oh, the slowdown. Zooks and Shadows are there to greet him. He's got to be careful.
No builds.
Batman Booga, Rapid are here. They come inside. They find him, and Hazens falls with 90 points. And Batman Booga is right behind them at 84 points in the tournament here. It's not over for them yet. The job is not done.
They've got to make sure they keep their composure. They don't want to get overly excited at the thought of what could be a spot potentially waiting for them inside of the grand finals if they're able to close this out. Batman Booga just playing the med kits currently for a little bit more placements. Look up at the high ground though. Reciprocal with G-Monster way far up. Batman Booga has lost Rapid along the way, but he's still making it.
Oh my gosh, 88!
Down.
No, he didn't pass Magia. That's crazy. Playify gets knocked here as well, and here we have it. It's just going to come down to the end. We'll just have to see who did enough to hold top 15. Aiden and Hound right now are on a tear, 8 eliminations. This is the last game and the last chance of the lower bracket. Crispin Vorteca need a win here in order to overtake all of those fallen soldiers that are in the 80-point threshold. We haven't seen a spread like that. There's such a strong spread of points right now across this 80 to 90s area, and then a win can separate all these other teams that are alive right now that have found themselves in a 60-point threshold. Zeus still in the game right now. G-Monster Reciprocal go for high ground, but it's anyone's game to win at this point. Hound and Aiden are just destroying right now, soaking up points. This is perfect if you're one of those teams barely holding on down below. You are hoping that Aiden does the work here. Hound does the work.
If there was ever a time to come online, Hound and Aiden certainly picked the perfect opportunity. This is their moment to seize. They're legit still trying to keep it rolling as well. Reciprocal gonna get knocked. Thought he had the surprise attack onto Chris, but still got his damage in. Vorteca gonna fall. And now Chris, lone man standing out of his duo. 88 points. Wants to see just how far he can really make it. Potentially close out the win even.
What?
Aiden, Zeus, and Pykz. That was a massive come up for these two.
10 eliminations in the top 3. Crisp from nowhere sidelines G-Monster for the high ground and fights his way into the top 15 right now. And it is just literally a matter of Zeus and Pykz versus Crisp. This elimination will determine if whether or not Zeus and Pykz overtake Crisp and likely fight for a slot on the standings. We'll see if it's going to be enough as they jump up to 105 and take the victory royale. Taco, we had a ridiculously close game right there. I can't tell you what the threshold is going to be, but I know it's going to be very close.
No, this was insanity. Thinking about how many teams could have potentially just shot themselves into that top 15 MDF. I don't think we could have asked for a closer finish between all of these teams here today. But one thing is for sure, Zeus and Pykz, the way that they were able to win out against Aiden and Hound in the low ground, that metric alone is just ridiculous to think about because it looked like they were donezo well before this zone ever even fully closed.
And that was the juggernaut duo they needed to take down. Aiden and Hound, they rocketed their way towards top 10, but Zeus and Pykz dropping them and securing those points before Aiden and Hound took any more might have actually did the job for them. That was really a really fun last game there in the low bracket, Taco.
Yeah, it's definitely been a pretty big nail-biter experience, but that's going to be the last game here to wrap up the NA FNCS lower bracket of semifinals. It's been an awesome time throughout this weekend, Monster. I'm so excited to see what happens for grand finals, but that's going to be it for both of us. Now it's up to Zeke, Vivid, and Kelly to tell us what the day actually looks like.